What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. Happy Halloween. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope this video finds you in good spirits. Listen, second live stream in almost as many days. I got some wig hair in my mouth. I'm not a professional wigist, but I thought this would be very fitting for this day. So, as always, hope this live stream finds everybody doing well. Haven't done two NBA player prop videos in same day in a long time. So the reason I wanted to roll this video out or this live stream out is we've seen some movement on the board over on Prize Picks, and I know people were looking at the board and the plays weren't there or they were different. So yeah, we're gonna go over the Prize Picks board for sure. But let me just lay out the agenda for today. So we got, see if that pulls up. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to recap the player props from the player prop video. All right. So I want to go over the three player props that we talked about. Like, I'm not going to do any deep diving into those. We're just going to recap them. We're going to go over some injury news because there's a lot going on in the NBA. Then we're going to head over to Prize Picks, and then we're going to do some Draftkings dabbling. So we're not going to build out a full lineup on Draftkings, but take a look at the lobby, maybe get a lineup going, try to pinpoint who the building blocks are for today's 3-game slate, because a lot of injuries, a lot of movement in LA, and we should see some different lineups for sure. I'm just going to check the comments real quick because what's up? All right, cool. All right, so I tell you what. Let's recap these 3 plays. We did go over, I did present 3 plays for everybody now. Unfortunately, a couple of these got bumped. So we did talk about Jeremy Sohan's assist, taking the over on his assist. We talked about Nurkic points. I know this got bumped up to 13.5. So no longer at 12.5 now. Reliable projections have him going for about 14 tonight. And I say reliable projections because I know there are a lot of sites out there that say this person's going to do this and that. So be very careful in terms of who you use as far as your resources. But reliable projections show Nurkic going for about 14 points tonight. So if you wanted to play the 13.5, you could. 12.5 was much better. And then my favorite prop that we talked about in the video was Mitchell Robinson's 9.5 rebounds and assists, because anytime you get a player with the same line for 2 different props, that's a big mistake by Draftkings, or excuse me, by Prize Pick. So you were getting Mitchell Robinson's rebounds and assists at 9.5, and you were also getting his rebounds at 9.5. Why wouldn't you take the over on his 9.5 rebounds and assists? So now this got bumped up to 10. You can still get his rebounds at 9.5 if you want it, but it was just a much better line at 9.5 over on Prize Picks. So those are 3 plays that we talked about in this morning's video. And I posted this video hella early. I mean, I posted this video midnight. It uploaded at midnight. So these plays were on the board. I know people are sleeping and things, but here are the options, right? We either wait until the day of, create the video, plays are gone, right? Or we do it the night before, and there's really not a whole lot of options, right? So things get bumped, things get changed all the time. Prize Picks is smarter than they were a year ago. They're stronger with their lines. So any edge we can get on that, we need to take it. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and let's talk about some injury news, because there's a lot going on in the NBA. And we're just going to start with like basic injury news here, because we got 3 games on the slate. All right. And in 2 of those games, we got a lot of movement. Could be some changes in the rotation. So starting off with, the big names, Donovan Mitchell, currently questionable. He missed last game with a sore hamstring. You got Norman Powell, questionable. Ivica Zubac, questionable. That's big news for the Clippers, because they sent a bunch of dudes to Philly for James Harden. So I'm interested to see what that lineup looks like, but not just the lineup. Like, what's that rotation? What's that rotation going to look like with limited bodies out there? Doubtful is Devin Booker. Now, I thought Devin Booker was out today. So now he's doubtful. So I don't know if he's always been doubtful or if he got upgraded from out to doubtful. Could we see this move to questionable by the end of this stream? I don't know. And then who we know is out for sure: Darius Garland, Jarrett Allen out, Bradley Beal out, Terrence Mann, Marcus Morris, formerly of the Los Angeles Clippers. Now they're in Philly. So now you got these two dudes out. You got Norman Powell questionable. You have Zubac questionable. You have Covington out. He's in the trade. Batum is out. He's in the trade. Who's playing center tonight? Who's playing the backup minutes? Plumlee and who? So there's a lot of news here to keep our eyes out on. So the trade with Harden, I'm not a trade expert. I'm not a reporter, but here's basically surface level view. Philly sends Harden, PJ Tucker, Philippe Petrusev, and a few like draft picks and things like that over to the Clippers. And then the Clippers send Robert Covington, Marcus Morris, Nick Batum, KJ Martin, and a whole gang of stuff. So I don't think the Philadelphia 76ers are done moving right now. I don't think Daryl Morey is done with this move with Harden. I think that was the first step. Now let's see what he does in terms of bringing in another name. I don't know. Do the Bulls look appealing? Because we talked about this in yesterday's video. It's hard to target Bulls when you got those three dudes, DeRozan, Levine, Vooch. You don't know which one's going to pop off. They don't all pop off at the same time. It's hard to target that production. I said that I want to wait till one of these dudes gets traded. It's easier to concentrate, like focus on those on that production when there aren't as many names out there. So could we see DeRozan in Philly or maybe Levine in Philly? I don't know. I'm not a trade expert. I don't know anything about this. All I know is the Harden move was huge for a lot of reasons, and especially for tonight's slate. Big impact to your DFS lineups and then also player props. So that's it for injury news. That's it for trade talk. Let's head on over to Prize Picks, and I want to just pull up the dashboard here over on Prize Picks. Josh said, dumb trade. Yeah. I mean, it depends on like who. I think if you're the Clippers, you're trying to like go all in. I made a joke in the Discord that said, looks like the Clippers are going all in, to make the play-in. Because I feel like when you have that many names, it's hard, right? Like they're going to cannibalize each other. And I don't know. I don't always have the best feeling about James Harden. And ever since he left Houston, even when he was in Houston, they can never get over that hump. He's tried to do this in different places, Brooklyn, Philly. Now he's going to try to do it in LA. So we shall see. But Daryl Morey is not done with this trade. I feel like he's going to bring another name in. We'll see who it is. All right. So here we are. Prize Picks. I do have a few names pulled up. So Randall fantasy score, Mitchell Robinson fantasy score, Wembanyama fantasy or points, and then Grayson Allen fantasy. So reliable projections show these three dudes are in really good spots to hit their lines, and that Prize Picks has these props a little too low. Yes, I know Victor Wembanyama has not looked like, I don't know what people thought he was going to look like. I mean, he's still a rookie. It's still the NBA. It's going to take him a little longer than I guess people think to hit that stride. I mean, it's hard for a rookie to come in here and dominate from day one. That doesn't happen a lot. Grayson Allen over fantasy score. This is super low for Grayson Allen, especially with Book out, Beal out. I mean, his usage is it's climbing. It's climbing up there. So, tell you what, we're going to transition like back and forth between Prize Picks and props.cash because I do want to go over some player props. We can take a look at that Mitchell Robinson player prop and a few other ones. If you have a player in mind, drop them in a comment. Let me know. I'd be more than happy to check it out on props.cash for you. Josh says, oh, Levert is questionable too. He just got the Q tag. man, Cleveland might be rolling out like Struess and Dean Wade and I don't even know who else is in there. Coro. No Allen. Levert's questionable. Garland's out. Yeah, man. I mean, your DraftKings lineups could look hella watered down, but I mean, that's how it is on 3 games, especially on 3-game slates like this, where your options are just getting like more limited as the day goes on. All right. So again, you got a player in mind, a prop in mind, drop them in the comments. I'll check them out on props.cash. But I want to take a look at these two first, Randall and Mitchell Robinson. Oh, how could I forget? Today's Taco Tuesday. Listen, these tacos aren't always a slam dunk. I understand they look really good when they're dropped, and I know there are a lot of like player prop projection sites and channels that say always play the discounts, always play the tacos. But if you, in your heart of hearts, feels like it's not a good play, don't play it. Case in point, Jimmy Butler's discount yesterday. The guy didn't even play the fourth quarter. He played like 25 minutes. We know Jimmy Butler's not regular season superstar. Zion on Saturday hooked it. Super disappointing. Kevin Durant, the day before, 2 days before, couldn't get over that discount. So just because you see a discount doesn't mean that it's to be played. Now, I actually like this discount for Julius Randle with all that being said. So we're going to head over to props.cash. I want to compare Randle and Mitchell Robinson because at first I thought they were going to negatively correlate, but they function pretty well on the court together in terms of their rebound production. So let's head on over to props.cash and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I already have Randall's rebounds pulled up right now. And I was a little surprised because he and Mitchell Robinson. Now I got to do some more digging because I honestly don't know the amount of court time they have together. But Randall, first 3 games of the season, double-digit boards. Mitchell Robinson, first 3 games of the season, 2 out of 3 games, double-digit boards. So we have a very small sample size here, but we do know the last 2 games, both of these dudes have crushed boards. Both of them have racked up double-digit boards back-to-back games. So they're coexisting very well. Because I like the rebounds and assist prop for Mitchell Robinson, I was all over this, And then Randall's line drops, to what is it? 6.5, 7.5. You could play these guys in the same slip if you want to, or you can just create multiple slips and play each of them. I don't believe you need to choose one over the other. But Randall was in a good spot to begin with, and now with the discount, this is in my mind, this is a pretty good prop to take. But again, don't just take it as a lock when you see these discounts. Do a little digging, figure it out. And if you don't like it, don't do it. I mean, I knew a lot of people in our Discord yesterday who faded Jimmy, and it worked out for him. So you can always fade. It's not like you don't have to play the over on this shit. So on Prize Picks, I had Julius Randle's fantasy score pulled up. I believe his fantasy score is set to 36.5. So PRA, points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. Those are your 5 categories that help positive score. Then you have your turnovers that you have to account for. So if we're looking for a fantasy score of 36.5 and over, we need that to be 36.6 basically. So has a 19.5 points prop today. Minus 125 to go over, minus 105 to go under. I like to lowball these projections because when I'm doing it like this, because you don't want to overshoot it. You want to be a little bit more realistic. So I said that a reliable projection has him going over fantasy, but let's do all the math together. So 19.5 points. Let's say he gets you 19. We go into the rebounds. This is looking very good to go over. I mean, at minimum, he gets you 9. 9 is 11.2 fantasy points. So 11.2 plus the 19, that's 30.2. We look at Julius Randle's assists, heavy juice on the under. So let's say he finishes with 3, that's 4.5 points. We were at 31.2, I believe, right? 30.2 plus the 4.5, 35.7, and then steals and blocks. So no prop or no lines for his steals and blocks, but if he gets you 1, he's over. We do have to factor in turnovers as well. I always like to throw in at least 1 turnover in there. But the way he's been turning the ball over these last few games, we would need him to grab double-digit boards indeed. So 19 points. Let's say he goes out and gets us 11 rebounds. Now that's 13.2. 13.2 plus 19 is 32.2. Now we factor in assist. Gets us 3. That's 4.5 points. That's 37 fantasy points roughly. Plus the block and steal. That's 40. And then minus 3 turnovers. There's 37. So not the only way to do these projections, but this is just like super surface level, diving into these lines to figure out if this fantasy score can be hit. So just based off that simple math, it does line up. It looks like, hey, this is on the up and up. I would take the over for sure on his fantasy score. I'm going to check the comments real quick. I got to get used to bouncing back and forth between screens, you know. Let's see. Patrick, what's up, Patrick? Says he's working on a 4-man. What do you think? Fantasy, Grayson Allen, Mitchell Robinson, and Donovan Mitchell. And then, yeah, Josh said Grayson Allen should hit. I like Grayson Allen tonight because 20.5 is really low. Let me go back to Prize Picks. And if y'all just joining the stream, thank y'all for stopping by. Yes, this is my natural hair. I tuck it in under my hat every video. I don't know if y'all can tell. So we got Grayson Allen here, 20.5 fantasy points here. Y'all want me to dig into Grayson Allen's fantasy points over on Props.Cash? That way we can kind of see it together. 20.5 is really low. I know he didn't impress. Like the first game that Book was ruled out, I know people were all over his ass, like expecting, him to go off. Because remember him in Milwaukee last year when anybody would sit, right? When Giannis would sit, when Drew would sit, when Middleton would sit. Grayson Allen just seemed to walk right into extra usage. I mean, his first half PRA was almost a lock every game. It was always like 4.5, 5.5 PRA. This is a different situation in Phoenix, though. All right, so let's look at his fantasy. Let's try to build out the fantasy score together. We need it to be more than 20.5. All right, so minus 105 to go over his point prop of 11 and minus 120 to go under. Let's say he finishes with 11. Okay, I think 11 is a reasonable number for Grayson Allen. I don't think we should expect 17 points from him every game, but we know what he's capable of. He can catch fire, so I think 11 is a realistic line for him. So starting off with 11 points for Grayson Allen. Now, his rebound line looks to be a little too low. Minus 157 on the over here. So it's like they're projecting him for 4 rebounds, to be honest with you. This is like almost 60%, over 60% hit rate here. So 4 rebounds, that's 4.8, plus the 11, that's 15.8. And then you have assists. So, he's averaging basically 3 assists to start the year. I mean, let's say he gets you 2 assists today. That's 3. So we got 3 points from the assist. We got 4 rebounds. That's 4.8. So that's 7.8. And then with the points alone, that's 18.8. We do need some steals and blocks for him to go over this. If he can get you 1, because he's not going to turn the ball over a lot usually. But yeah, we would actually need, based off that little breakdown, we would actually need a few more than 11 points, or we would need him to contribute a little bit more in these assist or rebound categories. So keep in mind on Prize Picks, you're not getting double bonuses, triple-double bonuses. You're not getting that extra 0.5 bonus for a 3-point made. On DraftKings, you do. But on Prize Picks, it's just flat out every point is a point. Like there's no bonus for that, like 100-yard bonus and stuff that doesn't exist on Prize Picks. So be careful when constructing your fantasy scores not to mirror it the same way DraftKings does. If you want a scoring system, like a DFS scoring system, use Yahoo and use FanDuel, because Prize Picks uses the exact same scoring system. So you can take a look at, projections for those two DFS sites. They're going to correlate well with Prize Picks. So Grayson Allen is in a good spot. I think we will need more than 11 points for him, or we would just need him to grab, a few extra rebounds, or maybe swipe a couple of passes. Listen, he's playing the Spurs. The Spurs are not a good team. They can be good down the road, but they're not there yet. And it's very possible that this game gets out of hand super early, and Grayson Allen, is seeing extra minutes in the third and fourth quarter. I mean, last game, he got 30 minutes against Utah. I mean, Phoenix blew him out the water, right? He got 30 minutes, got 34 minutes the game before that. So he's getting 30-plus minutes, which is good. Minutes are key. If you're not on the court, you can't score most of the time. You do have these crazy 1 fantasy, 2 fantasy points per minute kind of dudes like Day'Ron Sharp, who played 11 minutes yesterday and scored like 25 fantasy points. But that's not sustainable, right? So Grayson Allen is giving you everything you need in terms of, going over fantasy. So I still like the over at 20.5 fantasy score line. I think that's a little too low for him. Westbrook rebounds. Julius Randle rebounds and assists. Westbrook rebounds and assists. We could take a look at that. All right. I think we'll spend maybe another 5-6 minutes checking out player props, because I do want to spend a few moments over on DraftKings and just kind of looking at lineup construction and pinpointing some building blocks for today's really weird 3-game slate. All right. Who was it again? Westbrook rebounds and assists, and Randle rebounds and assists. All right. So Randle's rebounds and assists, 13. Now, I don't know if this was bumped up or if it was 13 always. So we got 13 rebounds and assists for Randle, and you said Westbrook 13.5. Now, I can tell you right now that Russell Westbrook, saying the R in front of the W always throws me off, because I'll say Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook should get a ton of minutes tonight. The Clippers are going to have like 7 bodies available tonight. 8 people, maybe. 7's a little extreme. Probably 8, okay? And Westbrook can play. He just leave his ass. He never wants to come off the court. So I think he's going to be in a good spot. He should play enough minutes to go over his line. Seriously, man. All right. Let's look at Westbrook, 13.5, and then we'll look at Randle's 13 rebounds and assists over on props.cash. So, all right, we got Russell Westbrook rebounds and assists. Where are you, sir? So let me refresh this. It's possible, because of all the movement in LA, that props.cash won't have the Clippers up. Let me refresh the screen, and then, because I'm telling you, man, this trade, it just threw everything off. Projections, minutes, everything got thrown off. So there we go. Okay, so just to refresh, rebounds and assists for Westbrook. All right, 13.5. Minus 125 to go under this. Now, his minutes last game, very hard to see through these shades and his hair. 26.7. He should see more than that. Like, by default, look at this list. Look at this list. Look, they already have Petrusev and Tucker Harden as Clippers. But look, Morris is out. Batum is out. Covington is out. Kevin Martin Jr. is out. Josh Primo. I mean, Norman Powell is questionable. Look, if Westbrook doesn't see 35 minutes today, I don't know what the hell is going on in LA. But so 13.5 rebounds and assists. He has not hit this on a consistent basis over his first 3 games, 1 for 2. All right. Take a look at some, projections here on props.cash. We have his rebound set to 7, and then you have his assist set to 6. That's 13 if you factor in like the decimals. It's a little over 13. I don't know about this one. For me personally, I like it because he's going to be in a spot to produce. He should see a ton of minutes, no joke. And you know what he can do when he's playing 35 plus minutes. You know what he can do. So I like that part of it. But when I look at the numbers, I don't have that good feeling. But totally up to you. Here's his game log. His numbers against Orlando, we got it. And this is going to go back to last season. 26 and 14, right? Pretty good numbers. So yeah, so if you want to play the narrative of Russell Westbrook is going to get a shit ton of minutes tonight because they're just down to like scraps, and by default, like he should just hit his numbers because he's going to be on the court a lot. I don't hate that. If you want to stick to the math and the odds and say maybe this is not the best prop, completely understand that one as well. All right, Julius Randle, rebounds and assists. 13. So it's at 13 on Prize Pick. So right off the bat, this is looking good for us because we're getting a 0.5 discount, I guess. All right. He's over on the season. Okay. First 3 games of the season. Oh, excuse me. Wrong game log. Here we go. He's 3 for 3. There you go. I'm like, why do you want to look at this shitty ass stat, man? He's 0 for 3. He's 3-0. Awesome. All right. Look at this. 18, 21, and 16. Great. Individually, the majority is going to be rebounds, right? We know he's a strong rebounder, but we were attacking his assists last season, man. He was becoming like point forward for sure. And he was averaging like 5 assists, 6 assists like through like a week or two. I mean, last game, he took a dip in assist, but 2 games before that, he was on point forward for sure. So set to 13. We're already getting a nice little line there. Numbers show 9 rebounds, 5 assists. That's 14. That's over rebounds and assists, right? 14 is bigger than 13. So this to me is a little bit more clear cut than the Russell Westbrook because we pretty much know how much Randall's going to play on a nightly basis, barring injury and all that stuff, right? We pretty much know that he's a strong rebounder every game. He will rack up, dish out the assist. And now we know very consistent to start the year, and we're getting a better line on Prize Picks than the other books. So I think this is a solid play. Randall over rebounds and assists. Let's see. Same game part. Kyle, what's up, Kyle? Same game parlay. Paul George 20 plus points. Westbrook 5 boards and Westbrook 10 points. Yeah, we just got through talking about Westbrook's role and what we think is going to happen because of all the movement, the trade, right? Like, who the F is in LA right now? Are they calling up people from G League? No book tonight. So he went from doubtful to out, Patrick. I'm going to pull up. Draftkings app is pretty reliable. It's like super clean. And the injury reports are pretty on point. Quicker for me to look at DraftKings app than it is to pull up ESPN and stuff like that. All right. It still shows doubtful for Devin Booker, but doubtful is not good either. So let's just assume that Book doesn't play. Even better for Grayson Allen, right? All right. Eric Gordon. What, Patrick? Points, rebounds, and assists. We can just look up Eric Gordon in general because he, like Grayson Allen, is in a good spot with Book and Beal out. I can't believe Beal's out, man. Like, only in sports, man. Only in sports can you get a new job and then not show up and get paid. Like, what if you went to your job, like you just got hired and they were like, when can you start? And you're like, not for a while, man. I got this back thing going on. I got a bad knee. And you just sit at home and collect paychecks and shit. Only in sports, man. Only in America. All right, so we're looking up Eric Gordon. All right. Nope. There we go. We'll look up everything, Patrick. So Eric Gordon, 16 and a half points, minus 104 to go over that line. That's good. That's a good start. So in order for him to go over, he needs 17. I wonder how much of that is based off this last game, right? Like game log watchers, it's very dangerous to like look at the last game and just say, oh, that's what he did. This is what he will do. Or she, this is what she did. This is what she will do. But in this case, we're getting favorable odds. All right, rebounds for Eric Gordon. We're just going to go through all these props. 2.5 rebounds, not severe, massive juice on the under. So not typically a strong rebounder is Eric Gordon. So maybe pencil him in for 1, 2 at the most. Now the assist line, personally, I was kind of looking at this one to begin with. I don't know if it's still 2.5 over on PrizePicks, but when I saw it, it was. And I thought, he's so busy shooting threes that you forget that he did other shit, right? So like 4 assists in the absence of Book, in the absence of Beal. They don't really have a true point guard on this team. I know Kevin Durant can run point forward, but it is nice to see other players contribute. So PRA for Eric Gordon, minus 113 on the under, 22.5. Let me just check out what Eric Gordon's lines are, because sometimes you'll see a discrepancy on prop. So 21.5 PRA for Eric Gordon. No assist line, so they removed that one. See, there's another example of PrizePicks being like, whoops, F that one up. So 21.5 PRA is what we're looking at now. 7 3-pointer attempted for Eric Gordon. Let me look at that one too. So PRA set to 22. We're getting minus 113 on the under at 22.5, but at 21.5, that should definitely change those odds. Still slightly favored to go under, but does make it easier to go over 21 versus 22.5. 3-pointers. All right. This is 3-pointers attempted, not made, correct? Because 7 3-pointers made is a lot. Yeah, 7 3-pointers attempted. All right. So let's scroll on down. Find where the 3-pointers. Here we go. So first 3 games of the year, 9, 8, and 7. If this follows trend, he's only going to take 6 3-pointers. Terrible. That's a terrible strategy. It is fun to just kind of like do that and go, oh, it's going to keep going down. Like you follow the trend. It's kind of like a stock market. Right when it hits, right when you think it can't go lower, bam, shoots up, right? And you're going to play it, as it goes up, and bam, it crashes back down. So this is headed in the wrong direction. However, he is playing San Antonio. San Antonio does give up a ton of production. We know this. He is over minus 130 on the over for his 3-pointers made. So if he takes 3 3-pointers, how many attempts will it take him to make 3 3-pointers? So far, he is a 30% free throw, 30% 3-point maker. I feel like 7 is a strong line to attack. You do get push potential there. I could definitely see him taking 7 or more 3-pointers tonight. I might have to look into that one and maybe include it in a slip. But so yeah, covered Eric Gordon's points, rebounds, assists, PRA, 3-pointers made, turnovers. That's actually on PrizePicks. I stay away from that one. Turnovers are stupid. Sometimes I tell you what, attack turnovers for guys who handle the ball a lot. Luka turned the ball over like 8 times yesterday on his way to 70 fantasy points. Crazy, but he still turns the ball over a lot. But Eric Gordon, will he have the ball in his hands enough to turn it over 2 times? I don't know. Maybe. There are better props out there for sure for Eric Gordon. All right. KD under 22 PRA. 1 hour. I don't know what the 1 hour is, but I was looking at the under on KD's PRA as a whole. Oh, first half? You mean first half, Danny? 22.5 PRA first half. Yeah, okay, cool. I was actually looking at the under for his full game PRA. It was like 47, I think. 46.5. Seems a little high. Anyway, let's see what else. Let's look at one more, and then we're gonna go to DraftKings. I want to look at DraftKings for a few minutes. I don't want the stream to run too long, but I do want to make sure I'm trying to cover as many of your requests as possible in the chat. Let's see. Donovan Mitchell, 9 3-pointers attempted. Holy crap. So I got 2 people asking about Donovan Mitchell. Let's look at Donovan Mitchell's 3-pointers, and then we'll go to DraftKings. All right. So Mitchell sat out last game with the bum hammy. They didn't miss him. I mean, in terms of fantasy projection, like scores, Mobley went off, Karis LeVert went off. Yeah, I mean, they moved right on without him, but definitely a better team with him. All right. So here we go. 3-pointers made for Donovan Mitchell, minus 150 to go over. So books say he gets you at least 4 tonight. Heavy juice on the over, so maybe 5. Damn, 5 is a lot. That's Curry territory, man. All right. So if he is on point to hit 4 3-pointers based off odds, how many will it take him to hit? So over his first 3 games of the year, 2 games? Yeah, because he missed 10 and 11. So he's averaging 10.5 3-pointers attempted per game. His line is set to 9. I mean, just based off that information, it feels like the over is the way to go. Plus it's at 9, which is a flat number. So push potential doesn't win you anything, but it doesn't lose you anything. So it depends on how you look at the push, but could be worse. So yeah, 9 is a pretty that's a pretty high number, but when you watch an NBA game, like you're paying attention to the back and forth and like the pace and stuff like that. It's hard to keep up with an individual performance. When you look at the box score, that is when it hits you like, holy shit, this person shot the ball 40 times tonight. You don't even see it. So like 9 on paper looks like a lot, but in the course of a game, it's really not that much if you think about it, especially for a high volume shooter like Donovan Mitchell, that it's bumped up to 9.5 right now. So I mean, if you wanted to play the over on 9, he needs 10. He needed 10 at 9. He needs 10 at 9.5. So you could still play the over, but you don't get the push potential. So you think he goes out there and shoots 10 3-pointers tonight? Here's the data to support it or to not support it. All right. So we looked up quite a few player props here. If you're just joining the stream, thank you so much for stopping by. Here are some player props that we looked at. We looked at Julius Randle's fantasy score. We kind of pieced it together over on props.cash. We didn't get to Mitchell Robinson, but I do believe that it's a little too low based off his rebounds and assist projection. Victor Wembanyama was really popping in reliable fantasy projections to go over his 16.5 points. And then we talked about Grayson Allen in a little bit more detail because of Book and Beal not being in a lineup. We also looked over Eric Gordon and Russell Westbrook's lines. Because of all the injuries and all the movement in LA, we don't know what that rotation or the minutes are going to look like for him. But man, I'd be surprised if he plays anything less than 35 minutes. So let's head on over to DraftKings. All right, this is the first time that I'm talking DraftKings on any video. I do play on DraftKings. I dabble. I like playing in the double ups because you don't have to be in first place. You just have to beat half the field, which is fun. And then I will enter my double up entry into small field tournaments. So I tell you what, let's build a lineup. Let's start off like building a lineup with some building blocks. Who do y'all think is like a must-have today in DFS? If you don't play DFS, it's fun. If you play player props, like on Prize Picks, Underdog, and you don't play DFS, it honestly isn't that different because you're basing these off projections, fantasy score, and what's inclusive, of fantasy. What's in the fantasy score? Point, rebounds, assists, same stuff. But you are looking for the highest score for that player, not whether or not they can go over a line. You're looking for the ceiling of these players. So the strategy is slightly different, but the concept is about the same. So we're going to pull up a skeleton lineup here, and we're just going to go over some building blocks here, right? So I'll give you an example. If you are really high on I was going to say high on crack. Bad joke. If you are really high on Kevin Durant tonight and you think he's going to go off for 55 fantasy points and all your data supports this, why would you not play him in your DFS lineup? Doesn't make sense, right? If you are not high on a player, it typically correlates with the other format. So here are your 3 games at the top. This Orlando LA game is the one with the most question marks. We pretty much know who's in and out or in this Phoenix and San Antonio game. As long as Mitchell plays, we're good. If Mitchell sits out, then you're looking at and LeVert is questionable, right? Y'all like this piece and chain? It's pretty sturdy too, man. I thought it was going to be flimsy, but yeah, man. On video, it kind of passes for the real thing. I don't know. What do y'all think? You think it looks real? All right. So here's what I'm thinking. If Mitchell's in, he's not going to be limited. Like, you're not putting him in. You're not playing him tonight if he's still not 100%. Not this early in the season, right? So Mitchell, for me, feels like a very strong play tonight. If we take a look at the board, you got some big names, right? So Book is still showing up as questionable, but now here it says he's doubtful. I don't think he plays, right? I don't think Book plays tonight. What was his deal? It was a bad toe. The bad toe for Book, a foot injury or something. So for me, Donovan Mitchell, I think is a building block for us tonight. Now I know I said I was under on KD in terms of his fantasy score, but it's very easy to build a DFS lineup with Mitchell and KD. On most nights, it would be really hard because you're looking at 2 players that are above 9,500 salary. But on a night like this, where we should have a ton of value from the LA Clippers, it's going to be easier than we think. So we could do this. If you are under the thought that George and Kawhi see bigger minutes without, with just smaller, a smaller team, not size-wise, just number-wise. I mean, you could build this out around Mitchell and Leonard. But you still have a lot of big names here, even with the injury news. Not the injury news, even with the trade talk in LA and not knowing what's going to go on there. So I think some valuable plays too. And I haven't even really looked at how I want to build out my lineup today, but I think your value will come from Cleveland and in Los Angeles. So starting in Cleveland, even if Mitchell is in, which it looks like he is, LeVert's questionable. I mean, Max Strus, we've seen his price tag climb up. I mean, he started the season, was it sub 5, 45, 56? 53, and now it's 58. So DraftKings is not wasting any time pricing these dudes up. But with the new role he has, the amount of shots he's taken, that to me feels like a way to go. In terms of other value, there's really not a lot popping. If LeVert plays, but if LeVert sits out, now you're looking at guys like George Niang. Hey, he put up 15.7 fantasy points, almost at minimum price, 33. He got bumped up to 35. So because of all these, low price guys, like I said, you can build a lineup around some big names. And we got Mobley, Leonard, Durant, and Mitchell in here, a value center. Now it leaves us with like very little here. So we would have to redo this because we can't put a player in for $1,900. But, if we took Mobley out or if we took Kawhi out, it does free up some space. But there are a lot of ways to go here. My favorite value play on the board right now is going to be whoever the hell Los Angeles plays. Like if Zubac is out, that opens up minutes for Plumlee. Plumlee is not questionable, but Zubac is questionable. No Covington and no Batum. And now you have Musa Diabate. Does he walk into a bunch of extra minutes today? I've never played this guy before, but he's playing minutes. Could we see him get 12 minutes today? Can he give you 10 fantasy points in 12 minutes? Opens up a lot of salary, and it still allows you to get Mitchell. It still allows you to get Durant. Still allows you to get Mobley if you want to go that route. If you're not feeling Durant because you don't think he's going to need to do a whole lot today versus San Antonio, because San Antonio is not a good team right now, and we saw Durant really kind of take a step back last game versus the Jazz because he didn't need to be the Slim Reaper in that game. And he saw Gordon have a good game and Grayson Allen have a good game. So maybe instead of going Durant, we go with Randall. We know what his minutes are going to look like. We're talking about his fantasy, his PRA, his rebounds. And now that opens up a ton of value for your last two spots. So I think building block for sure, Donovan Mitchell, because there's just not another point guard on the board tonight that can do what he does. I know Brunson's a good point guard. We talk about Westbrook a little bit, but they're not on Mitchell's level. And so I feel like that's a huge building block for us. And then after that, it's kind of just figuring out which forwards you want to roll with. If you're going to go with George and Kawhi, or if you want to stick with Mobley, or you can go completely off the board and go in a contrarian way and play a few Spurs, if you want to go that route, depending on if you're playing cash games or if you're going to enter your lineups in a large field tournament. That's really going to have a huge impact on your lineup, your overall lineup build. But something I've never done before is share my actual DK lineup that I use for my cash games. So if you are interested in that, I'll share that in the free player prop Discord. That link is in the video description below. So let me just check the chat real quick, because like I mentioned, I want to keep a close eye on the time. Let's see. Luis said Paolo Banchero under 18 points. Yeah, I thought you said over at first. I was going to be like, no. Listen, Paolo Banchero is like on he's in my timeout. He's got teched up because 2 nights in a row I rolled with an over on a couple of his props, and he's getting off to a really slow start. Sophomore slump is for real in Orlando with him. What else? Yeah, bounce. I feel like it's going under, like literally under Banchero points, under Banchero first and second half points. Like you can just really like go to town on the unders there. Wouldn't you know, this will be the game that he goes off for like 80 fantasy points though. Right when you're like beating somebody down, they're on your ban list. You'll never play them again. They go off. That's how it is. You got to be careful with that. It's very easy to get emotionally attached to these plays, but at the end of the day, it's just business. It's business, man. You can't be too high, can't be too low. All right. So real quick, Mitchell, good to go. Randall, good to go. Mobley, good to go. Talked a little bit about Yusuf Nurkic in my video. Point prop got bumped for a reason. Too many people taking the over on it, which is a good sign. Pretty strong start to the season, averaging well over 30 fantasy points per minute for his price at 67. If you feel like Kevin Durant is not going to have a good game, who will? Nurkic, Gordon, Grayson Allen. That is still a good way to get exposure to that team without spending a lot of money on that superstar. And you're left with 4,100. So your building blocks here: Mitchell, Randall, Nurkic, Mobley. You want to fade Mitchell? You want to go with Brunson instead? You want to go with Westbrook? And let's say, what if Westbrook falls into 38 minutes tonight? I'm just throwing it out there. Now this opens up 5,400 for your last two pieces. So yeah, in your cash games, there's no need to be cute. There's no need to be cute. Play the high floor. That's what you're going for. In your tournaments, still don't get cute. Don't get stupid. But you will have to differentiate at some point. You will have to pivot to another player just to make your lineup a little different than the other entrants. But in your cash games, if you're playing cash games like me, no need to be cute. You get cute, lose money. I've learned that the hard way. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So again, interested in seeing my final lineup that I'll be entering over on Draftkings. Check that out over in the free player prop Discord. But if we don't have any extra comments or chats, I think we're gonna. I know, Luis. That's how it is, man. That's how it is. You swore off a player. I'll never play this person again. The next game, boom, they beat you. You should have took the over, and then you're back on the wagon. I'm gonna take the over. The next game, they forget to show up. That's how it is, man. That's how it is. What do they always? They got the call from Vegas. Jimmy Garoppolo yesterday got the call from Vegas. Jacoby Myers got that call from Vegas. One target. Man, tough. Player props is tough, man. Finding that consistency isn't the easiest thing to do, but we keep showing up every day because it's fun. And yeah, it's just fun. It's not personal. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today's live stream. Sum up what we talked about in today's video. We just recapped the 3 plays that I talked about in this morning's player prop video. Unfortunately, a couple of them been bumped up. I try to get that video out pretty early so that we can avoid those bumps. But no matter how fast we run, Prize Picks is just a little bit faster than us. We went over some injury news. We got some questionable tags. Karis LeVert, questionable. Booker, doubtful. Mitchell looks like he's in. Harden trade. He's not playing tonight. However, there are a lot of pieces that are not in LA anymore. Covington, Morris, Batum. You got questionable tags on Ivica Zubac and Norman Powell. So how that team looks tonight, don't know. And then we just talked about some player props over on Prize Picks. I took some requests in the chat, looked up some players over on props.cash, try to give you as much insight as I can. Hopefully that helps you make a decision on your player props. And then we ended the video over here on DraftKings. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by the channel and just checking out this live stream. If you're catching this on the replay, I appreciate your time as well. Best of luck to y'all. Whatever you're playing tonight, I hope you win. I hope you win big. I hope all your player props respect the damn coin. If you want to check out my slips, my lineups, again, final plug, you check it out in the free player prop Discord. Best of luck to you all. Until my next live stream, Chavez is out.